So today I'm Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Lifeline. My name is Alex and this channel is designed to inspire you to let your future expand and to find success. Today we are going over a paradigm shift that I had with fear. And once I started thinking about fear in this particular way, it became much more easy for me to not only manage my fear, but to move past it, move beyond it. So follow me and let's talk about fear. So story time, I grew up in a rather cloistered environment. Now it was fine, it was safe and fairly average, but the only problem was that everyone in this environment had a particular set of values. And if you didn't abide by these values, you were more or less considered an outcast. And maybe this is something that you can relate to as well. Now, I didn't mind this set of values at first, simply because I had grown up there all my life. But as I slowly became older and I went to college and I started working, I became more and more discontent with this environment. And despite being in a good situation financially, I decided that it was time to leave. So I decided to move on to a more open and less constricting environment, specifically one where I felt like I could just be myself. And I was really excited to go, but then something unexpected happened. Right before I was leaving, I became completely consumed by fear. Fear of moving to a new environment where I didn't know anyone, and fear of just completely upending my current established routines and leaving my current comfort zone. Just think, when is the last time that you really left your comfort zone? And in fact, this fear was so strong that I basically had a nervous breakdown before I left and almost ended up not going at all. So I became really upset and angry, not only with my fear, but with myself, because I just wanted this fear to go away. And as you know, fear isn't something that's rational or that makes sense. It's just something that you feel emotionally. So I was trying to avoid my fear by doing things like self-affirmations and listening to music and, trying to pump myself up. But no matter what I did, my fear would not go away. And this is where it hit me. My fear wouldn't go away simply because I had a basic misunderstanding of what fear is and what causes it. And the best way that I can describe it to you is to say that you have to think of your fear as smoke. That is, smoke is a result of combustion, and it's not something that happens just naturally or just randomly out of thin air. Rather, it is a byproduct of something. And let me tell you that fear occurs in exactly the same way. It doesn't just happen randomly, and it doesn't just appear out of thin air. And because of this, the same way that you think about smoke is the same way that you have to think about your fear. For example, if you're sitting around a campfire and smoke starts blowing in your face from the fire, what do? Well, certainly you don't get angry and you don't get upset at the smoke or at yourself. Rather, you just get maybe a little annoyed, maybe a little agitated, but you understand that the smoke is merely a byproduct. In other words, you can't avoid smoke during a campfire. So it's merely something that you learn to deal with and to work around. And your fear is exactly the same thing because it is also a byproduct. But rather than a byproduct of combustion, my fear of upending my life into ambiguity unknown was a byproduct of a lack of experience and time. See, it may sound silly, but I had always lived within the same 20-ish square miles, and I had never moved to another state or another country. So it made sense that naturally I would experience fear when I'm doing this because it's something that I've never done before. I had no experience in completely changing my environment. And this was a major paradigm shift. That fear is the natural byproduct of a lack of experience and time, just as smoke is a natural byproduct of combustion. And this paradigm shift helped put me at ease because I realized that my fear is not something to be angry at or frustrated with. Rather, it's something that I just need to learn to deal with and work around. So if you're experiencing fear right now or the fear of doing something new, realize that you can't avoid your fear. Your fear is going to be there. More importantly though, realize that there is a very clear way to ameliorate it. And that way is to gain experience in and spend time doing the very thing that you are afraid of. In other words, by simply carrying out the very plans that you are afraid of, you will naturally eliminate your fear. And I know that it's fairly paradoxical and stupidly simple, but it's something that is kind of hard to do if you've never done it before. And it's something that takes conscious effort and courage and bravery. Now, if I were to upend my life again in complete ambiguity, I might be say a little bit nervous, but I certainly wouldn't be afraid. And that's because I've had time and experience in doing that before. Overall, these are the main points that I want to leave you with today. Number one, fear is like smoke, and you can't become frustrated or angry with it. Becoming angry with your fear is the same thing as becoming angry with smoke while you're standing in front of a campfire and pouring gasoline on the fire. This is a mistake that I used to make all the time, and it only adds to the negative emotions that fuel your fear. Number two, fear is simply a lack of experience and time. And number three, fear is not conquered by using false bravado or mindset tricks. Rather, you conquer your fear simply by doing the very thing that you are afraid of. Build and gain those repetitions. Number four, the most important thing that you can do to get rid of your fear right now is to subscribe to this channel. And to conclude my story, I did end up moving. I got past my fear. Things worked out really well actually, and I'm happier than ever. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, let me know, leave a comment down below, and also comment with your biggest fear right now so that we can work through it together. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next video. Oh.